bring in Keyshawn Johnson, ESPN NFL analyst. Key, good to have you back. How you been?
How you doing, Dan?
I'm good. Paulie is obsessed with wide receivers wearing gloves, that it's a performance enhancer. Are gloves performance enhancing?
No, I don't think it's well, receivers aren't the only people that wear gloves. DBs wear gloves, offensive linemen wear gloves, quarterbacks wear gloves. So I think that he's wrong in that assessment.
What about Odell Beckham with that ability to catch? Does that matter? I know everybody else has worn gloves and haven't had a catch like that, but do certain wide receivers benefit more?
No, I don't think so, because if you can catch with or without gloves. I didn't wear gloves in college at all, and I didn't start wearing gloves in the pros so after my rookie season. And I think a lot of people don't really understand what comes with gloves as part of the marketing scheme of things. I mean, if you notice, all gloves have some sort of Nike logo, Adidas logo, something to that effect. That's part of your shoe package deal. The gloves that you wear don't necessarily protect you from the cold or anything like that. It'll take some of the sting off of the football, but for the most part, they don't enhance you in catching the football at all. And there has been people. I mean, Odell Beckham's catch was great. I mean, it was phenomenal. The acrobatics, the long arm, the catch, to be able to hold on to it, hitting the ground. But other people have made one-hand catches. I mean, other people have made one-hand catches before. So I don't want to take anything away from him and say, well, the reason he made the catch is because he had the gloves on. That's not true.
I'm looking at wide receiver classes. You were part of a great wide receiver class here.
The best ever in the history of the National Football League.
Think so?
Not even close.
So Marvin Harrison, Terrell Owens, you, Mushin Muhammad,
Joe Horn, Eddie Kennison,
Amani Toomer,
Eric Moulds. Did we already say Joe Horn? We said that,
got
right?
Joe in there. So that one will turn out to still be better than this wide receiving class.
It's not even close. It's not even debatable. I mean,
Not yet. It's not debatable.
Well, first of all, you're at a different time and era of football. Any one of the guys that you just named, we'd like to have 20 targets a game. We would like to have 20 targets. We would like for our quarterbacks to throw 50 times a game. I mean, the only guy that I could, out of this group that we're talking about that may have had a consistent passing game might have been Marvin with Peyton, where they threw the ball more times than not. But other than that, nobody else really didn't, I was in my entire career, I was in a run-oriented offense, no matter which team I played, whether it was Parcells or Dungy. I mean, it was all run. Eric Moulds was in Buffalo, pretty much run-oriented team with a quarterback carousel. I mean, you can't, it's not even close, man. I've had this debate for months now. I'm like, dude, stop. Don't even get me started.
All right, who's the best wide receiver out of your class?
Well, it depends on what you're looking for. I mean, everybody had something different. Statistically, one would say it was either Marvin or Terrell. I'm assuming I think those guys finished up with better numbers, but longevity, they played more than everybody. And everybody was different skill sets for different teams that they went to. So I don't know that there's a clear cut, he was better than this guy. Because everybody balled. Everybody went to Pro Bowls. I think a lot of us played in a Super Bowl, whether we won it or not. I think Marvin and I are probably the only two that won the Super Bowl. Oh, no, Jermaine Lewis won one, too. I forgot about Jermaine Lewis.
With the Ravens?
So that guy, I mean, he was the third receiver and the punt return specialist. So, I mean, it's hard to debate that.
He's Keyshawn Johnson, part of ESPN's Monday Night Countdown tonight, 6 Eastern. They have the Broncos and the Bengals. We're talking about Andy Dalton, discussing Andy Dalton, that, Bengals had injuries, but the expectation level should be high there, that they've gone to the playoffs, and we keep waiting for Andy Dalton to sort of take that next step, whether it's a Joe Flacco step or a bigger step than that. What is holding Andy Dalton back?
I don't know. He struggled in what you would call prime time big games like the New England, where you have the statement game. He struggled in those football games in the past. This is another one of those games tonight, Denver versus Cincinnati. For him to take that next step against an inferior opponent like Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos, who most people have picked to host the Super Bowl, go to Arizona for the Super Bowl, it's an opportunity. You have them at home. It's an opportunity for you to show the world that you're capable of taking the next step and give everybody, some belief. Now, he's gotten them into the playoffs, but they've lost. He's played up and down throughout his career, but they rewarded him with a whatever $100 million deal or whatever his contract says. But he now has to get them to the next level. Is he capable of doing it? I don't know. I really honestly don't believe that he is a top-tier quarterback. I think he's just a guy with some talent around him.
What happened to Colin Kaepernick?
Colin Kaepernick gave you a lot early. And what happens with professional athletes is when they give people something early, your expectations go. The marketing comes with it. Now the expectations grow even more. And the moment there's a little bit of a letdown and you don't fulfill what people's expectations are of you, now people start to say you can't play the position or you're not this. That's the furthest thing from the truth. They've had a lot of turmoil within the organization this year, players suspended. Problems with the head coach and the general manager, problems with the head coach and the players. And so that affects your football team, whether you believe it or not. Then they take Colin Kaepernick and they try to turn him into something that he's not. Unlike what Seattle has done with Russell Wilson. They need to allow Kaepernick to be Kaepernick and play football, not this old world dinosaur quarterback, you got to be this way, in the pocket, stand tall, why don't you be like Peyton Manning? That's a bunch of nothing. Be who you are, play like you're capable of playing. Because when you got them to the Super Bowl and when you took them to championship games, there was no complaints. Now all of a sudden you get a little bit of turbulence and everybody's complaining about your play. So when he gets the next head coach in there who should be quarterback friendly, who understands this type of player and can vibe with this type of player, then everybody will start to sway again and say he's the best quarterback going. So if I was him, I wouldn't even put too much into it. Wait for the offseason to come, see who your head coach is going to be, and go to work.
Well, we saw glimpses of this against the Chargers, Key, where he did run, and he just seemed like he was having a little bit more fun, a little bit more freedom. I still think he throws the ball way too hard. He needs touch, but I do like when this is what you do well. Why do I want to take away what you do well? And that's why I don't know why you draft a quarterback who does this in college and you say, hey, but come in and I don't want you to do that in the pros. Either take him because of that or not.
Because coaches think they're smarter than everybody else. They just do. They fool you as a viewer, and then you think, oh, God, he's really smart. He really is a great coach, where he really has no clue. And that's why he gets the pressure from all of his colleagues, and he starts listening to them and listening to other people, and he caves. And it happens.
Is Harbaugh a great coach?
I think he has been a good coach. Don't throw the word great out, because great is used way too often in professional or any sport.
Okay.
I think he's a good coach. I think he's a good coach. I think he has won on every single level that he's coached on. He's won on every level that he's played on. And I think in time, given the right situation, he may be able to win a championship, whether it's at the University of Michigan or with another NFL team.
Who's your MVP?
I would probably say J.J. Watt right now, because MVP is for the best player and the most valuable player to his team in the National Football League. If I'm wrong, correct me there, but I think that's what it is. They have an Offensive Player of the Year award. They have a Defensive Player of the Year award. This particular MVP award should probably go to J.J. Watt because he just does I mean, he does everything. I mean, you know, he does everything.
Well, you got Jerry Jones now saying Tony Romo for MVP. And I said, you know, Tony's having a great year, but it's almost because he's been limited, therefore he's not doing as much. To me, DeMarco Murray has been more valuable to the Cowboys than Tony Romo.
DeMarco Murray is as equally valuable as Tony Romo. Do I think that the Cowboys could have won the division without DeMarco Murray? No. Could they have won the division without Tony Romo? No. But, I mean, Jerry's being Jerry, and the Dallas Cowboys, they won, and now everybody, you know, you got to get everybody tuned in for what the Cowboys have next. So I don't blame Jerry for trying to pump up his quarterback, but if I had a vote, it probably would go to J.J. Watt.
Have fun tonight. Tell Boomer we said hello. Good to have you back, Key.
All right, man. I'll make sure to tell him.
Anyway.
All right.
Thank you, Key. Keyshawn Johnson.